The Thunder just recorded the second largest comeback playoff win of the 21st century, storming back from a 29-point deficit to take a 3-0 lead over the Grizzlies. And what stood out to me about this game, and really the entire series in general, is the defensive genius of Alex Caruso, who's been putting on an absolute clinic of what it looks like to be a historically good defender. Caruso's first appearance in this series came about 8.5 minutes into Game 1, and right away they matched him up with Jaren Jackson Jr., putting him in a position to roam along the baseline as a helper with the speed to close out to the three-point line. When he's playing this type of role, his defensive IQ and activity pop off the screen. On this one, he's roaming off of Jaren, but when Cason Wallace finds himself matched up with Edey, Caruso executes a scram switch to remain as close to the basket as possible. Then when Bane starts a drive from up top, he comes over to meet him and protect the rim. Those scram switches can also be used as a way to avoid mismatches. Wallace is on Jaren and they don't want him to post up, so as soon as he gets close to Caruso, they switch the matchup, then he fights for position to not let him get a paint touch. If Jaren does get a post touch and Caruso's not on him, chances are he's making something happen as a helper. This time he doubles from one pass away, forces him to lose the ball, then is the first to get to it on the court, and in general, he just always finds a way to make his impact felt on a possession. This time he's matched up with Aldama on the weak side, and as Bane starts to attack the middle, he sinks to the nail to not let him drive while still getting a hand on a kickout pass. But on this one, when he loads up at the nail, Ja takes a much tighter driving lane towards the corner, only for him to chase him down with some late help and send away a layup. Going back to the Jaren Jackson matchup though, Caruso's done an incredible job on him individually. Jaren loves to play downhill, but when he's matched up with a defender who has a lower center of gravity and the agility to cut off all of his attack angles, and then you also have multiple defenders loading up behind the play, he really can't get to the paint. So anytime these two have been matched up with each other, Jaren's perimeter game really hasn't been much of a factor at all. And of course, the natural counter is to instead play from the post. But that's when you'll see Caruso very aggressively battle him for position, taking away any easy entry passes and completely denying him the ball. In order for him to get a post touch, it's gonna have to start out near the perimeter. And in these spots, he's looking to turn over his right shoulder for that lefty hook, so Caruso's sitting on that right shoulder to make him turn left. From there, the Thunder are throwing all sorts of different coverages at him. If Chet's on the baseline, more times than not, you're going to see Caruso force him to that left shoulder, essentially funneling him into a vertical contest. Remember, this all starts with Caruso fighting him for position, forcing the entry pass 25 feet away from the basket, then sitting on the right shoulder. And with Chet loading up in the paint, they've also thrown some doubles from up top to get the ball out of his hands, just mixing things up to keep him and the offense guessing. With all of that said though, anytime J-Dub's in the game, that's who they want guarding Jaren. So during those minutes, Caruso's primarily had the assignment of Desmond Bane, which really highlights his versatility as a man defender. And when I say he's defending Bane, I mean he's picking him up 94 feet consistently and making it difficult for him to even touch the ball. Just take a look at this one. Memphis tries to bring Bane to the ball with a down screen, which Caruso easily gets around to deny the pass, forcing Ja to look elsewhere. Or how about this baseline out of bounds play? They're looking to free up Bane in the corner, only for Caruso to chase him around not one, but two screens, sticking to his man like super glue and forcing a reset. This next one though is the epitome of what great ball denial looks like. It's incredibly rare to see someone top lock an offensive player from the top of the key, but he does so successfully, and the Grizzlies have to reset with Edey in the middle. Then when Pippen and Bane cross each other, Caruso and Wallace switch, only for him to immediately bait Edey into making a careless pass, which he then chases down for one of his 7 steals in the series. Whenever Bane does get the ball, he's typically looking to run spread pick and roll, but between Caruso's active hands, his ability to navigate screens, and how his agility allows him to stay glued to the ball, he's been able to single-handedly blow up these actions. Here's a great example from the second quarter of Game 1. With an empty corner, Bane's looking to attack the open space, but Caruso pushes him to the middle. Then he teleports through a screen, stays attached to his hip, and the result is a turnover. Because of Caruso's constant pressure over the top of screens, basically the only way Bane's been able to score out of these actions is with a really tough shot over the top of him. And in the very rare event that he's able to completely get around him, OKC's just gonna execute a peel switch, then he's right back to Jaren Jackson and in a position to help. We've seen all of this in the brief time he spent on Ja as well. It's the same thing with him staying glued to Ja 94 feet and denying him the ball as much as he possibly can. Then when Ja sets up in the pick and roll, that ability to navigate screens and stick with the hip as he makes it really tough to create an advantage, and if he's matched up with Ja but the offense looks elsewhere, now he's back to making plays as a helper and aggressively protecting the nail to shut off driving lanes and force turnovers. Between the versatile man defense and the genius as a helper, Caruso's defensive impact is unlike that of any other guard. And that was on full display in the fourth quarter of their comeback win in Game 3. When he checked in, he matched up with Jaren, and right away he cut off one of those downhill attacks before swiping down to force a turnover. Then a minute later, the Grizzlies cleared out for one of those empty side isolations. This time Jaren actually is able to beat him, but remember, Chet's coming over with the late help. Then on the offensive rebound, Caruso again swipes down, knocks the ball loose, and gets to it on the floor. So Memphis started to look for other avenues to attack, like a Luke Kennard pick and roll, but remember, that puts Caruso in a position to roam behind the play as he tags a roll, parks at the nail, then gets out to the corner to deflect a kickout pass. His ability to read the offense in these spots is nothing short of historic. This time he's actually matched up with Kennard, and when Chet drops to pick up Jaren, that leaves him in a 2-on-1 situation on the weak side, to which he fakes a closeout to the wing, baiting an extra pass to the corner. When everything was tied up at 108 with 2.5 minutes left, the Grizzlies looked to post up Jaren on Caruso. Remember, he's trying to force the ball baseline, then when Jaren goes middle, he swipes down for yet another stop. Now OKC's up 3 with 50 seconds left, and a stop can all but seal the game. He's matched up with Pippen Jr., but instead of chasing him to the opposite wing, he sits at the nail to make Bane think twice. Then when Bane kicks it to Pippen, he recovers hard on a closeout, aggressively pressures the ball, and picks his pocket. In that fourth quarter alone, Caruso recorded 3 steals, a block, and plenty of other deflections in less than 10 minutes, arguably playing the biggest role in OKC securing that win. And this is especially crazy to me because I feel like his defensive value typically isn't something you can capture on the box score. The way he's defended 1 through 4, the amount of chaos he's caused with his constant pressure, and all of the smart rotations he's made to either deter attacks or prevent advantages really only show up on the team level. And we'll get to that in a second, because it's worth noting that his box score statistics in this series have been ridiculously good. Through 3 games, he's only played 57 minutes, so per game stats won't do him justice. But if we adjust for that and look at his averages per 75 possessions, he's recording almost 4.5 steals and 1.5 blocks, which is extremely impressive. It's nothing in comparison to his deflections though. For every 75 possessions he's spent on the floor, he's gotten a hand on the ball almost 11 times, which is an unfathomably high number that really showcases his activity and knack for making plays. Like I said though, his impact really shows up at the team level. In this series, the Thunder have held the Grizzlies to an offensive rating of just 88 in those 57 minutes with Caruso. For reference, their regular season average was over 118, meaning they're performing about 30 points worse. And during that time, OKC's outscored them by about 43 points per 100, just completely and utterly dominating them anytime he's on the court. All of that's to say, through 3 games, they've done nothing but prove that they're an all-time great defensive team. And at the forefront of all of that is Caruso's genius, both on and off the ball, as he'll be playing a vital role in their pursuit of an NBA championship. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn my post notifications on to be first on more content. If you're interested in my more in-depth research, make sure to check out the Hoop Venue podcast and my social media profiles. You can find those links in the description. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you think of Caruso. As always, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.